Water whispers, sings, yells, claims, gives advice. One who knows how to really listen is prepared for its calling to contribute with initiative and goodwill to change minds, habits, and attitudes from the understanding of how universal, fluid, permanent, primary, and significant is water. In Somos Agua, we work from the emotions using educational entertainment and actions of communicative impact.
Our vision, seeing us as part of the universal water network, recognizing each one of us as links of life.
And assuming the inherent responsibility to preserve it, improving its quality for the benefit of the inhabitants of the planet, that they could learn from the wisdom of water by the way it flows and expresses its fulfillment, adopting similar habits and usages and showing empathy with the natural rhythms of their bodies, with the living beings surrounding them, and with the laws of the universe. To obtain a wide knowledge about the current perception of water by people, in order to be better prepared to propose new and fresh models, to promote a new water culture, contributing to modify outdated or inadequate habits in a concrete way, as well as to adopt attitudes in favor of life.
The mission to communicate a new water culture and promote her existence, her supply in quality and quantity.
Through recommendations aiming to encourage habits of co-responsibility for its care and handling. Our challenge is to create and spread messages in order to make people aware about water and to offer them a new paradigm showing our interdependence with her and with all living creatures. We identified with water through individual and collective experiences with her in order to change minds and to influence daily habits and to become guardians of water while it flows over or under the territory in which we live. Water represents the natural heritage that we share. We recognize the ancient wisdom and we incorporate those mysteries with the discoveries of science to communicate, in combination with the motivational and sensitive force of art, that water is a right, a gift, and probably our most important responsibility. We see it falling from the sky as a tender drizzle, a lavish display of drops or a thick curtain concealing our view. We feel it flow over our skin, a pleasing gush, dutifully pouring out of a faucet or a shower head, as determined as the water that surges out of a spring or down a precious waterfall, tumbling, twisting, and turning somersaults on its winding and agitated course towards the ocean. A confluence of rivers and streams transforms into a soothing calm within great bodies of water, lakes, lagoons, and seas. Rhythmic waves mark time as the tides reflect the relationship between our planet, the sun, and the moon. What does water mean to us? It is the element that crowns the origin of life. Each human being was conceived and formed in a watery medium. Our first nourishment was liquid. It quenches our thirst, refreshes us, and out of pleasure or necessity, we bathe in it. We settle into villages, towns, and cities next to water, taking refuge in its bays, estuaries, riverbanks. Throughout history, civilizations have risen and fallen into synchrony to its presence or absence. Our own civilization invests heavily in securing its sound supply. Governments and citizens groups work hard to provide ever more people with clean water. This effort would be all the more valuable if it went hand in hand with an increased awareness of our intimate and vital relationship with water. We could always feel a deep appreciation for its wonderful qualities, regardless of how many times we may have access to her by opening a faucet. Knowing that the amount of water on the planet is finite and that its ability to transform herself is infinite, we live humility.
Let's talk about water from water herself. Let's think of ourselves as the blue sphere floating in the universe. Let's be the universe.
Water born in the stars and traveling towards us. Multiplied drops that keep the memory of the origin and that are simultaneously a present and future time restraint. Because there are no boundaries between water and us, to describe it is to witness a narrative where the world is the protagonist because everything and everybody has a bond with water. Beyond the permeable limits of Somos Agua, there is an abundance of resources, proven, innovative, or under experimentation technologies, successful or perfectible water models, financial resources assigned to water problems, and creative and professional human talent interested in changing the way in which we think about water. Once the needs detected as a result of the processes inside Somos Agua, then the look turns outside in search for the corresponding and suitable resources. Each proposal consolidating as a viable project is put in the hands of an interdisciplinary work team whose decisions and actions will be directed and moderated by the plurality of viewpoints of the main group of professionals conforming the organization. With the financial and technological resources obtained, the work team develops the project, keeping constantly in mind the public, institution, or community that will be favored by the products of the project.
Raising awareness amongst different population groups about our relationship to water is an educational process.
It requires using a language that is better suited to the natural flowing element, the language of emotion, as a way of communicating from the heart that is both a fountainhead of feelings and a storehouse of sensorial messages. This is a platform from which water stories can be told and shared, relating the special ways in which water regales us. The smell of the countryside after a rain shower, a plunge into water's firm embrace, the unmistakable taste of water on one's palate, the sound of water's soothing murmur, and the contemplation of water's splendid appearance that sparkles with astonishing transparency or richly textured ultramarine, turquoise, or emerald colors. Somos Agua establishes a virtual forum to promote the kind of communication that will lead to raising people's water awareness and to creating a dynamic and boundless space that unites global concerns about water. Combining a variety of contemporary forms of media, the forum organizes inspiring dialogues, roundtables, teleconferences, chats, and formal debates between scientists, politicians, academics, artists, designers, communicators, and diverse social groups. This combination encourages the exchange of ideas and of goods that connect our needs with truly creative solutions. From the notorious to the anonymous, all contributors are welcome to share their water stories. Today's technology permits us to experience all of them simultaneously and in real time through the mass communications media and its social networks. Interchanges within the virtual forum will emulate water's all-embracing quality by adopting its fluid behavior, flexible, compelling, beautiful, provocative, refreshing, and persevering in neither circumventing or dissolving obstacles.
The challenge is to catch a glimpse of our unity as water beings and thus to recognize our common link to water despite the diversity of our knowledge, experience, and intuition.
Forum Agua contains the seed for ideas that promote the renewal of our water-related consciousness. A new way to think water will originate from novel and stimulating things. Even if there is a long list of water-related problems to be solved urgently, within the framework of a new water culture, it is understood that it is time to pay attention to these problems. Otherwise, the partial solutions will continue or the existing solutions will be overtaken in the short term.
The first thing to do is to know the current perception that people has about water before trying to change it.
The tendency of these actions, the unifying characteristic, is implementation of communication processes of intuitive and emotional impact. In order to change the perception that most humans have about water, we need to go beyond the mere supply of information. Actions leading to social awareness and educational entertainment are crucial to change the preconceived paradigms and ideas existing in the collective mind about the water issue. The inspiration for both these acts and events is to be found in two sources located in different times, but converging in our present. The ancient wisdom about water and the recent scientific discoveries about its nature. From the deep well of ancient wisdom, we rescue spiritual concepts about water, its role in the cosmos that we inhabit, and what it represents to living beings on the planet. The creation of original actions for social awareness and educational entertainment use the wide range of sensorial experiences which human beings can have through their senses. The applicable techniques in this area offer endless possibilities. At the same time, modern science has been showing a great empathy and resonance between the ancient beliefs and what is discovered through increasingly finer scientific methods. To talk about water in almost any community or human group is to knock a door which will open to show a problematic situation needing one or more immediate solutions, even though it is not its priority. The work of Somos Agua necessarily includes and will include projects conceived to provide concrete solutions to urgent problems. The fact that this activity develops with the framework of a new water culture means that the process of implementation of solutions will always take into account the element of sensitive communication towards and from the affected favored group, so that the assistance given is followed by a creation of a greater awareness about water.
In the same way as water keeps track of her past states and transformations, Somos Agua protects its work experience. Each act of social awareness or educational is a cycle which started as a seed of concern inside the organization.
The cycle is not considered as concluded until the results are analyzed. The objective observation of experience increases the internal resources heritage of the organization, so that anything successful, repeatable, or perfectible can be withdrawn from this heaven of ideas in order to be shared and implemented again to keep promoting a new water culture. The sea. I am in the sea. It's a very particular world, full of mystery and places to explore. The water atmosphere is heavy, it wraps me up, salty, full of substances and minerals. In its multiple corners live a great variety of fantastic beings, which are born from a watery womb that takes them away, brings them back, rocks them. This rhythmic swell is the sound of peace before the shudder of birth. The sun and the wind grant me dynamism, providing me with the necessary energy to expand myself and leave the cradle of my mother the sea. I become clouds and travel through the skies, or I am rain and fall into the earth, or I am a river and I jolt avoiding stones and hills. Penetrating into the earth, I walk through the roots of plants. I allow the sprouting of the nourishment of the inhabitants of the earth. They eat what I let grow in abundance. Humans irrigate their crops with me and grow their food in me. And even after the harvest, they need me to wash their food and cook their meals. I am an essential element in human cooking, ensuring the sources of food. I satisfy the hunger and quench the thirst. Thirst without me, without the water. Earth does not produce, nothing grows, nobody eats, nobody drinks. Everyone feels dryness, yearning, anxiety, distress, and desperation. But I don't stop existing, no matter how many times they use me or how many changes they make me pass through. I always found my way back to my mother, the sea. The sea kindly receives everything: pristine water, acid water, crystalline rivers, polluted rivers. The sea kindly assembles and communicates everything: neighboring coastlines, distant continents, allowing to embark in canoes, ships, transatlantics, to travel and explore. I am also a source of fun and game. They frolic in me. They take refuge from the heat and from boredom in my fresh waves and crystalline mass. They let themselves be wrapped by me at the communal baths, at the thermal baths, at the spas, surrounded by an architecture of health and pleasure. I exist on this planet in three forms: water, vapor, ice. From my mood and spirit depend the climate that you live, enjoy, or suffer. I am your environment. I build the atmosphere. I am the context in which life goes on.